Who was Zara Aleena? Zara Aleena was 35 years old, described by family and friends as bright, compassionate, and determined. She had recently started working at the Royal Courts of Justice in London, aiming to qualify as a solicitor to help people, particularly victims of domestic abuse and vulnerable women. She was very close to her family, especially her mother and grandmother, and was excited about her future in law. Underscore 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 underscore. The night of June 25th to 26th, 2022. On Saturday, June 25th, 2022, Zara went out with a friend in Ilford, East London, near where she lived. They went to a local bar, spending a calm evening together, having food and non-alcoholic drinks. Zara drank water only that evening, as she was known for prioritizing her health and clear-headedness, even when socializing. She and her friend left the bar after 2 a.m. Zara decided to walk home alone, confident in the short 10-minute walk back to her home on Cranbrook Road. She believed it was safe and often reassured her family she could handle herself. Underscore 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 underscore. Her final walk home. Zara began walking up Cranbrook Road in Ilford, a well-lit, busy road, commonly used by people coming back from the train station or night buses. She was wearing comfortable clothing and walking quickly, as she often did, with her phone and bag with her. Zara had texted a friend and checked social media before leaving, planning to get home and rest for her upcoming work week. Underscore 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 underscore. Her determination to live freely. Zara was deeply committed to living independently as a woman, refusing to live in fear despite the known risks of walking alone at night. She believed in reclaiming public spaces for women, emphasizing the right to move freely without being harmed, a belief she often expressed to her family. Her cousin later shared that Zara felt women should be able to walk home safely, and that she should not have to rely on others for a simple journey. Underscore 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 underscore. A vulnerable moment before a tragedy. While Zara walked confidently, Jordan McSweeney was lurking nearby, having been ejected from a bar. CCTV would later show McSweeney following multiple women that night before targeting Zara. Zara was unaware that she was being followed as she continued her walk. The street was relatively empty, and while she was near her home, McSweeney closed the distance behind her, leading to the brutal attack that ended her life minutes later. Underscore 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 underscore. Symbol of many women's fears. Zara's final walk represents the daily risk many women face, even during short, familiar routes they have taken countless times. Her murder highlighted the harsh reality of violence against women in public spaces and spurred widespread outrage and vigils, symbolizing the fight for women's right to walk safely at any time. Who was Jordan McSweeney? Jordan McSweeney was 29 years old at the time, with a long history of violent and criminal behavior, including 28 previous convictions for 69 offenses: robbery, assault, and violent disorder. Known for aggression in prison and noncompliance with probation supervision. Released from prison on June 17, 2022, just 9 days before the attack, despite being flagged as high risk. On the night of Zara's murder, McSweeney had been drinking heavily and was ejected from a bar in Ilford for aggressive behavior. After leaving, he wandered the streets, looking for a target, reportedly following several women before Zara. Underscore 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 underscore. Predatory behavior before the attack. CCTV footage later revealed McSweeney loitering in the area for hours, watching women closely. He followed multiple women, walking behind them for several meters before backing off, showing clear predatory intent. He was carrying out what appeared to be a deliberate hunt, using the dark, quiet streets to stalk potential victims. The attack at 2:17 a.m. At around 2:17 a.m., McSweeney spotted Zara Aleena walking alone on Cranbrook Road, near her home. He followed her for several minutes, closing the distance quietly. CCTV showed McSweeney suddenly running up behind Zara and dragging her into a driveway near a house. He launched a brutal attack, punching and kicking her repeatedly in the head and face, inflicting severe head and facial injuries. McSweeney sexually assaulted Zara during the attack, leaving her partially undressed and critically injured. Underscore 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 underscore. Severity of injuries. Zara suffered multiple facial fractures, severe brain injuries from the repeated blows, significant trauma indicating extreme, frenzied violence. Despite the brutality, McSweeney left her collapsed on the driveway and walked away calmly, heading back to his mother's flat, showing no remorse. Underscore 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 underscore. Discovery and emergency response. Shortly after the attack, passers-by found Zara lying on the driveway, unconscious and bleeding heavily. Emergency services arrived and performed CPR at the scene, attempting to revive her. She was taken to Royal London Hospital in Whitechapel in critical condition. Despite medical efforts, Zara Aleena died later that morning due to the severity of her head injuries. Underscore 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 underscore. Impact of the attack. Zara's death was not immediate. She fought for her life for a few hours before passing away, making the tragedy even more harrowing for her family. The random, predatory nature of the attack, happening during a short walk home, underscored the vulnerability many women face in public spaces. The attack deeply shocked the Ilford community, leading to vigils, protests, and renewed demands for addressing violence against women. Jordan McSweeney's disturbing criminal history. Jordan McSweeney was well known to police and probation services. By 29, he had 28 convictions for 69 offenses, including violent assaults, robbery, criminal damage, disorder in prison, substance abuse-related offenses. His behavior inside prison was aggressive and non-compliant, with a history of violence towards staff and other inmates. He frequently breached previous probation conditions, showing a pattern of ignoring authority and reoffending upon release. Despite this pattern, McSweeney was released on license on June 17, 2022, after serving a sentence for robbery. Underscore 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 underscore. Probation assessment failures. Before release, probation officers assess McSweeney's risk, but I initially flagged him as high risk due to his history of violence, drug use, and noncompliance. This classification should have triggered tighter supervision and monitoring, including regular, in-person probation appointments, immediate recall procedures for noncompliance, potential use of electronic monitoring. However, McSweeney's classification was downgraded to medium risk by the Kent, Surrey, and Sussex Probation Service shortly before release. This misclassification meant he was subjected to lighter supervision and no protective measures were enforced, despite his clear high-risk indicators. Underscore 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 underscore. Missed appointments and delayed recall. After release, McSweeney failed to attend 2 probation appointments. The first missed appointment was on June 22, 2022. This was a clear breach of license conditions and should have prompted an immediate recall to prison. Instead, probation officers waited until June 24, 2022, to initiate recall procedures, 2 days after his breach. During this delay, McSweeney remained free and unsupervised, with no electronic monitoring or active tracking. Attempts to locate him were inadequate. After the recall was initiated, the Metropolitan Police visited an address linked to McSweeney, but the address was incorrect. Police efforts to locate him were limited, unfocused, and prematurely closed, leaving McSweeney free on the streets. There was no coordinated urgency between probation services and police to find and arrest him, even though he was now in breach. Underscore 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 underscore. Critical systemic failures identified. The sequence of events exposed multiple failures. White heavy checkmark probation misclassification, downgrading his risk from high to medium despite clear evidence of violence. White heavy checkmark delay in recall, waiting 2 days to initiate recall after a missed appointment. White heavy checkmark poor communication between probation and police, resulting in ineffective action. White heavy checkmark lack of proactive arrest efforts, allowing McSweeney to remain free days before committing murder. Underscore 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 underscore. Direct consequence: the murder of Zara Aleena. While McSweeney was meant to be under supervision, he roamed the streets of Ilford on June 25 to 26, 2022, attacked and murdered Zara Aleena during this period, when he should have been in custody. These failings directly contributed to the circumstances that led to Zara Aleena's death, making her murder not only a personal tragedy, but also a system failure at multiple levels. Recall warrant issued June 24, 2022. After McSweeney missed his probation appointments on June 22, The probation service finally initiated recall procedures on June 24, 2022. This recall meant McSweeney's license was revoked, and he should have been arrested and returned to prison immediately. The Metropolitan Police were tasked with locating and arresting him under the recall warrant. Underscore 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 underscore. Incorrect address data. McSweeney had provided multiple addresses in the past, and there was confusion over his current residence. Police attempted to locate him at a registered address, which turned out to be incorrect or outdated. This failure to verify or track his actual location critically undermined a recall attempt. Underscore 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 underscore. Premature closure of inquiries. Instead of escalating efforts when they did not find McSweeney, police closed the recall case quickly without further active investigation. There was no immediate surveillance, neighborhood checks, or attempts to trace McSweeney through known associates. The urgency of a high-risk offender being unlawfully at large was not treated with the seriousness it required. Underscore 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 underscore. Lack of follow-up before the murder. Between June 24th, recall issued, and June 26th, murder of Zara Aleena. White heavy checkmark no further visits were made to possible addresses. White heavy checkmark no active search operations were conducted to locate and arrest McSweeney. White heavy checkmark police did not liaise effectively with probation to gather updated intelligence on McSweeney's possible whereabouts. During this critical 48-hour window, McSweeney remained free on the streets of Ilford, unsupervised, despite being flagged as a wanted individual under active recall. Underscore 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 underscore. Missed opportunity to prevent the murder. Had the recall been executed with correct address verification, persistent follow-up, rapid prioritization of McSweeney's arrest, he could have been detained before June 26th, potentially preventing the murder of Zara Aleena. Underscore 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 underscore. Contributing factors to systemic failure. The inquest into Zara Aleena's death later found white heavy checkmark insufficient urgency by the Metropolitan Police in dealing with McSweeney's recall. White heavy checkmark failure to prioritize the case despite the risk level. White heavy checkmark lack of effective coordination between probation services and police to secure McSweeney's arrest. White heavy checkmark flawed processes and accountability gaps within the system for handling high-risk recalls. Impact on public trust. The public was outraged to learn that a dangerous, high-risk offender was allowed to remain free due to police and probation failings. Zara Aleena, who was simply walking home, became the victim of a preventable violent attack. Her case became a symbol of the consequences of system failures in managing violent offenders, fueling demands for white heavy checkmark better risk assessment. White heavy checkmark improved interagency communication. White heavy checkmark swift recall enforcement for high-risk individuals.